After a couple rounds of steady snowfall overnight, roads are extremely slick this morning.
Yeah, we can expect a couple more bursts of snow, and heavy winds will create blowing and drifting before the storm winds down. Hello, Wisconsin starts right now.
You're watching Hello, Wisconsin with Bob Gallagher, Leanne Stapleton, and Skywarn 13 meteorologist Mike Dandria. This is WEAU 13 News.
Good morning and hello, Wisconsin, and thanks for tuning in with us on this Thursday, February 23rd. And that snow, although light and fluffy, don't let that fool you, it's piling up.
Yeah, it is starting to pile up, and we've had a couple of waves came throughout the night. When I drove in at around 2:15 this morning, it was coming down heavily. Then another lull, but boy, it's been snowing pretty good for the last half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, and you know, the name of the game today is take it slow.
Oh, yeah.
Take it slow. But let's head out to the patio to check in with meteorologist Mike Dandria, who's enjoying this light, fluffy snow as it falls on his head.
Yeah. Enjoying it as long as, well, for now, I'm not driving in it. So,
right.
You know, while I'm here, I can enjoy it as much as I want. And that leads to the fact that if you can stay home, you may want to consider doing that because the roads, well, the crews need their space, but the roads are very slick right now. And on top of the snow that's falling, the snow that's already on the ground blowing around quite a bit with some of these winds, that makes visibility an issue as well. And you can see another widespread bout of some heavy snow working into western parts of Wisconsin and knocking on the door of the Chippewa Valley right now. And we're expecting that to last us through about the mid-morning, possibly even into the latter half of the morning. Otherwise, mostly into the teens for today, some low 20s towards the south, but our winds, again, 21 miles per hour in Neillsville, a lot of us between 10 to 20 miles per hour. We are expecting a rather breezy day before those winds start to relax later on tonight. And for the moment, it does make it feel like we're into the single digits with a few spots feeling like it's below zero right now. Again, these snow showers lasting us into the morning, but this afternoon, we may have a few scattered snow showers, but for the most part, cloudy and quiet, but not really warming up too much. Now, coming up in your full forecast, I'll have details on just how much more we can expect and how this impacts you in just a bit.
All right, thanks a lot, Mike.
You bet.
Well, there's no doubt if you have to leave your home this morning, you'll need some extra time. The snow and wind will impact your drive.
NBC 15's Phoebe Murray is visiting from our sister station in Madison. She's outside now at the State Patrol's Eau Claire post. Good morning, Phoebe.
Hey, good morning, you guys. And yes, with this snowfall just shy of 9 inches right now, we know that a lot of that is impacting road conditions. And so joining me this morning, we have Captain Craig Larson with the State Patrol Northwest Region Post here. Good morning. Thank you for your time. I know you guys have been busy, but walk me through a little bit about those road conditions and how your troopers have been handling.
Good morning. Yeah, the road conditions right now are snow covered and slippery. We do have a lot of wind, which is causing some drifting. The plow trucks have been out doing a great job with keeping up with that. And obviously a lot of pre-planning goes into an event like this, maximizing our staffing efforts as well.
And yesterday and today as well, travel not really being advised. And you said that's been kind of reflected in what you've been seeing on the roads as far as incidents.
Yeah, so far since 7 a.m. yesterday, our totals are about 50 with property damage, crashes, runoffs, motorist assists, etc. So we really do think the message going out early on, obviously with a big snow event like this, a lot of people planned accordingly, and we really appreciate that. But also have been very fortunate with the snow totals being a little decreased than what they had said as well. So
right, and I know this is not our first rodeo with snowfall. Western Wisconsinites can handle their own, right? But as far as staffing, what does that look like for the day ahead?
Yep, so like I said, we maximize our staffing efforts. We do have a lot of troopers and inspectors out working the road along with our local agencies and highway departments. And we'll continue to make sure that we have quick response times to anybody that calls 911. We also do want to make sure that they use 511 if traveling and can monitor those road conditions along with incidences along their route.
Perfect, Craig. Thank you for your time. We need to get you some mittens as well, but we'll let you get back to it. And as far as the city plow efforts this morning, they are going to be out again this morning at 7 a.m. with a citywide effort, making sure that those roads and then with the county highways really are passable for people. But as the captain mentioned, maybe travel is not advised this morning. If you can, hunker in, maybe take a snow day and settle in. But for now, live in Eau Claire, Phoebe Murray for WEAU 13 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Phoebe. And yeah, great advice, Leanne. Just enjoy your snow day. Yes, the kids have to do some virtual schoolwork. Got to do that. Got to do your work. But the big thing is, just take it slow. And I don't know, if I didn't have to be here, I'd be home sleeping and enjoying the day off.
Hibernation mode. Well,
Yes.
All right, well, Governor Tony Evers has signed an executive order declaring an energy emergency in Wisconsin. The intense winter storm moving across the state is bringing snow, sleet, and freezing rain that could result in widespread power outages. The executive order provides waivers from federal and state requirements to give additional flexibility to in-state utility workers and allow for out-of-state utility workers to come to Wisconsin to help restore power.
Well, the Eau Claire Area School District will hold a virtual learning day today after keeping classes in person yesterday, despite other districts closing. Superintendent Michael Johnson says the district made the decision to hold school because roads were being plowed and the snowfall was expected to stop during the late morning and afternoon, making it safe for student transit to bring students to and from school. However, as snow started coming down again last night, the district is preparing for a virtual learning day this morning.
Our staff, our families, and students know that they have plenty of time to prepare, and especially for a virtual learning day. Our district made a commitment to families and to kids to be able to provide one-to-one technology devices.
And Superintendent Johnson reminds families that it is ultimately up to them to decide whether they let their kids come to school when there are weather concerns. We have more news and weather to come. Mike has your full forecast just ahead.
Plus, we have an update on the shooting death of a 5-year-old boy in Milwaukee. Police now say 2 men have been arrested for leaving a gun unattended.
Cozy up to the ultimate comfort food with Slim's Mac Bowl meals. Try the Tender Mac Bowl meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl meal. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
The American Bar Association works tirelessly to uphold the ideals of liberty and justice for all. The ABA is committed to measurably improving the legal profession, eliminating bias while enhancing diversity, and advancing the rule of law around the world. Together, we unify voices and make a resounding collective impact. Because education, access, equality, opportunity, humanity is for all. The American Bar Association.
Cozy up to the ultimate comfort food with Slim's Mac Bowl meals. Try the Tender Mac Bowl meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl meal. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Now, your Skywarn 13 weather forecast.
Well, some reports from the National Weather Service starting to come in. Now, these are since Tuesday evening, so these are your storm totals. Neillsville, 11 inches. This is not accounting for any of the snow drifts that we've seen, but some of those have been as high as 2, even 3 feet at times. That's what's been reported by the National Weather Service in Minneapolis. Otherwise, Oliva, 10 inches of snow. Now, as of a few hours ago, Eau Claire was at 8.8 inches for our storm total, but we've, of course, seen that heavier burst of snow, so it's likely that we're beyond that 9-inch mark right now. Boston also at 8 inches. But looking at where we're at right now, some heavy rates of snow moving into far western parts of Wisconsin now. You can see those darker blues just southwest of Baldwin right now. Heading a little bit further towards the southeast, heading towards Arcadia into other parts of Trempealeau County. That's where we're seeing more of that heavy snow moving into. But to give you an idea as to how widespread this band of heavy snow is, you can see that stretching all the way from west of the Twin Cities towards the Chippewa Valley. And that's why we're expecting this to last us over the next couple of hours. Our Nicolay Bank Skycam overlooking Hastings Way right now, showing that the roads, I mean, they're not exactly clear, but they do have a little bit of snow on it. But crews have been out all night. It does help that we've had that dry slot a few hours ago that allowed the crews to kind of get ahead on this. But still, even roads that look clear could become snow covered in a moment's notice, being that we have that very breezy wind right now and that very light and fluffy snow that can blow onto the roadways again at a moment's notice. Now, road conditions going through the rest of the afternoon, or excuse me, the rest of the morning, expected to be pretty poor. So this is one of those days that if you can, maybe just enjoy the snow day from home. Otherwise, if you do hit the roadways, make sure that you take your time and give space to the other vehicles, especially those road crews that have been working all night. Otherwise, teens north of I-94 and low 20s towards the south. But looking at the winds, very breezy. Most of us between 5 to 15 miles per hour. Some places beyond that. Ladysmith reporting a sustained wind at 20 miles per hour. Some of our gusts have been nearing 30 to 35 miles per hour as well. And looking ahead, we can expect those winds to start to calm down going into tonight and especially by tomorrow morning. However, that's going to set up a very chilly start to tomorrow morning. And while this morning it feels really chilly out, being that our wind chills are mostly into the single digits, some places feeling like it's below zero. So make sure to bundle up if you are heading out the door, because if you get stranded, make sure that you have the gas in the car, because that heat is going to come into play big time if you do, again, find yourself stranded with wind chills into the single digits. Looking at Skycast, though, we'll see those snow showers pushing off towards the northeast by the latter half of the morning. That could give way to a few scattered snow showers through the afternoon, but tonight high pressure starts to build in, and that'll help clear us out. Again, that's going to contribute to that chilly start that we're looking at tomorrow morning. Otherwise, by tomorrow afternoon, another round of cloud cover moves in, and this could give way to another burst of snow. Now, this one not like the winter storm that we've been seeing the last couple of days. This one will move fairly quickly, even before the daybreak hours of tomorrow, before we start to tap into sunshine going into Saturday afternoon, and we'll see those winds out of the south. That'll help put us a little closer to average. We can expect anywhere in the neighborhood of another 2 to 4 inches in the northern parts of the viewing area, but down towards the south, especially south of I-90, that's where we're expecting just about a trace to an additional inch on top of what's already fallen. Highs into the low 20s, so not warming up too much today, but later on tonight, as I mentioned, it is going to be cold getting into the single digits below zero. Otherwise, to close out the work week into the low teens, into the upper 20s and low to mid 30s this weekend as we see the return of sunshine, but Monday brings us another chance at some precipitation, likely of the mixed variety. We may even see a little bit of freezing rain mixed in with that, something that we'll be watching that could create some travel impacts as well, but otherwise into the low 30s, closer to average towards the middle of next week. Now for a Sunshine Award today, Cindy Paulus would like to nominate Rebecca and Jacqueline Copeland, and says, Rebecca and Jacqueline, her 8-year-old daughter, with no regard for the elements, rescued our 14-year-old skittish dog who decided to travel 2 blocks from home down the railroad tracks. Rebecca corralled the dog, Buddy, while Jacqueline was able to pick him up, and then Rebecca carried him up the hill to our car. Now, if you'd like to nominate someone, send us an email or head over to our website at weau.com.
Cozy up to the ultimate comfort food with Slim's Mac Bowl meals. Try the Tender Mac Bowl meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl meal. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards. Cozy up to the ultimate comfort food with Slim's Mac Bowl meals. Try the Tender Mac Bowl meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl meal. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
We have an update this morning on a La Crosse man facing child sex crimes. 44-year-old Jeremiah Midstocky is now charged with attempted sexual assault of a child in meth possession. According to the criminal complaint, he was chatting with an investigator posing as a 15-year-old girl on the social media app Telegram. They agreed to meet up, and Midstocky was taken into custody when he arrived at the location.
A 5-year-old boy has died after police say he accidentally shot himself with a gun he found. Milwaukee police say the boy was taken to Children's Wisconsin Tuesday night, where he died. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office identified the boy as Elijo Gonzalez. 2 men, ages 58 and 35, have been arrested for leaving a firearm unattended. Charges are pending, and Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson calls the boy's death extremely upsetting.
One man has been hospitalized after a stabbing at the Islamic Society of Wisconsin in Green Bay. The 52-year-old reportedly suffered life-threatening injuries. Police say a person of interest was being detained by others inside the mosque and is now in custody. Right now, they're only identifying the potential suspect as a 22-year-old man. Police don't believe this was a random attack. A motive remains unclear, but they say the two people knew each other. With 2 weeks left to go in the regular season, the Wisconsin men's basketball team find themselves on the NCAA tournament bubble.
The Badgers faced Iowa last night in Madison. The highlights are next.
Cozy up to the ultimate comfort food with Slim's Mac Bowl meals. Try the Tender Mac Bowl meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl meal. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards. Cozy up to the ultimate comfort food with Slim's Mac Bowl meals. Try the Tender Mac Bowl meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl meal. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Another burst of heavy snow moving in towards parts of the Chippewa Valley and stretching all the way west of the Twin Cities, and we're expecting that to last over the next couple of hours. Otherwise, temperatures mostly into the teens north of I-94, but very breezy. Winds sustained anywhere from 10 close to 25 miles per hour out in Neillsville right now, and that's blowing around a lot of the snow that's already fallen, as well as make it feel like it's into the single digits for the most part. Now, we are expecting that snow to push out of here mostly around the latter half of the morning, and we could see a few scattered snow showers towards the afternoon, but high pressure then builds in tonight and clears us out, and that sets up a very chilly start to tomorrow. Northern parts of the viewing area could see as much as 2 to 4 inches additionally on top of what we've already had, but south of I-90 likely just seeing more of a trace out of this. Temperatures today mostly hanging out into the low 20s before a very frigid night tonight, dipping back below zero.
Well, depending on which bracketologist you read, the Wisconsin Badgers are either projected to be one of the last 4 teams in the NCAA men's basketball tournament or among the last 4 out. Either way, the Badgers are on the bubble with 4 games to go in the Big Ten regular season, heading into last night's game with Iowa. The Badgers looking for the sweep of the Hawkeyes this season. Wisconsin trailing early on, but Tyler Wall going to find Connor Esegian, well, he was held scoreless the other night. He had a big game last night. Second half, Badgers down by 1, and again, it's Esegian to a cutting Stephen Crowell, who throws it down. Badgers go up by a point. Iowa, well, they're going to battle back. Chris Murray hitting the three-pointer, makes it 35-34 Hawkeyes. Still up by a point. Tony Perkins with the jumper, and it's now 39-36 Iowa. Badgers with a response. Tyler Wall, great move to the hoop inside as Wisconsin goes back in front 40-39. Then it's Esegian one more time with Wisconsin leading Wisconsin with 17 points as Wisconsin gets a crucial win at home. They top Iowa 64-52. Badgers will be on the road Sunday at Michigan. Well, another burst of heavy snow is falling across the Chippewa Valley right now.
We'll have another live report on the dangerous travel conditions when Hello Wisconsin continues in a moment.
For Pinehurst Park,
Hello, Wisconsin!
Cozy up to the ultimate comfort food with Slim's Mac Bowl meals. Try the Tender Mac Bowl meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl meal. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
While the end is in sight, more snow is falling right now across the Chippewa Valley.
And crews are hitting the roads, working around the clock to get them cleared.
Well, the latest on our forecast and what's in store for the rest of today, coming up.
You're watching Hello Wisconsin with Bob Gallagher, Leanne Stapleton, and Skywarn 13 meteorologist Mike D'Andrea. This is WEAU 13 News.
Good morning and hello, Wisconsin. It's now 6:30 on this Thursday and a very snowy morning right now, along with Leanne Stapleton. I'm Bob Gallagher, and if you got to be out on the roads right now or you're looking outside and you got somewhere to go, I'd maybe wait a little bit.
Yeah, and if you do decide to head out that door, take it slow, be cautious, give yourself, if you think you've given yourself extra room, maybe give yourself a little more extra room just to be sure, because this snow, it's light and fluffy, but that's, to me, that's one of the most dangerous ones.
And the biggest thing, Leanne, too, it's cold outside. I mean, with the wind chills are down around 0, so it's kind of a layer of ice is underneath that layer of snow that's falling right now. Let's head back out to the WEAU patio, and it's starting to come down once again. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Leanne. Yeah, there's even a little bit of what's called grapple mixing in with this. And just a quick note on that. Basically, water droplets, which could actually be liquid water below the freezing point. They're called supercooled water droplets. They collect onto these snowflakes, and that's where you get those, like, ones that kind of bounce off of you. That's what we've got falling from the sky right now. And, of course, the snow that's mixed with it. So, yeah, we've got some snow and we've got some grapple, but all of this makes for some very tricky travel. So make sure, again, as Leanne had mentioned, to give space to other vehicles and give yourself a little extra time if you do need to hit the roadways. Otherwise, maybe just enjoy this snow day from the comforts of your own home. Here's a look at the satellite and radar showing that band of heavy snow showers spanning most of the viewing area right now. In our Nicolay Bank Tower Cam, looking at some of the roadways, again, you see how snow-covered they are. So there are plenty of slick spots. And again, with the rate of the snow that's falling right now, that does pose some visibility issues as well, something to keep in mind as you are heading out the door. Otherwise, temperatures mostly into the teens north of I-94 and into the 20s towards the southern part of the state, but very breezy once you head out towards parts of Taylor and Clark counties. We have winds that are sustained nearing 25, even 30 miles per hour. The rest of us mostly anywhere from 5 to 15, close to 20 miles per hour in the state, and that does make it feel like it's into the single digits for the most part. 6-degree wind chill right now in Eau Claire. Now, this morning, we are expecting these snow showers to continue, but going into this afternoon, they'll start to lighten up. We could have a few scattered snow showers hanging around, but otherwise mainly cloudy as the system continues to push towards the northeast. But I'll have more details on what to expect for the rest of this system in your full forecast in just a bit.
Thank you very much, Mike.
You bet.
Well, it can't be said enough. If you must leave your home this morning, be sure to give yourself plenty of extra time. You're definitely going to need it.
NBC 15's Phoebe Murray is visiting us from our sister station in Madison. She's outside at the State Patrol's Eau Claire post with more. Good morning, Phoebe.
Hey, good morning, you guys. Yes, and plenty of grapple on my jacket out here. That snow's still coming down. And as you mentioned, if you do have to travel, we have some words with Captain Craig Larson, who's joining us here this morning. I know a lot of people were adhering to maybe not getting on the road yesterday, and you said that was reflected in the number of runoffs incidents you guys saw yesterday.
Yeah, between 7 a.m. yesterday till this morning here, we've had about approximately 50 runoffs, motorist assist, property damage crashes, et cetera, that we've been managing and responding to.
If people do have to hop on the road today and they were to find themselves locked or not able to move, what is that kind of protocol?
Yeah, we just ask that they stay in their vehicle. That's the safest place, and please buckle up, and then call 911, and we'll send emergency services as soon as we can to help them.
How have you seen kind of the blowing and drifting on the roads affecting road travel?
Yeah, definitely getting a lot of drifting with that wind, and plow and maintenance have been doing a great job trying to keep up with it, but obviously it's very difficult, and we'll continue to monitor that as the morning goes.
Awesome. Craig, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And if you guys do have to head out, be sure to check 511 for those road conditions. They'll give you the full lowdown, whether it's snow-covered, icy-covered roads. Right now, definitely snow-covered with that blowing and drifting adding into the mix. But for now, live in Eau Claire, Phoebe Murray for WEAU 13 News.
Thanks a lot, Phoebe, and you can definitely see the grapple accumulating on her jacket there. Well, in other news this morning, a high school teacher is facing multiple charges in Pierce County after being accused of having sex with a student. 23-year-old Brandon Furman of River Falls is the band instructor at Ellsworth High School. He's now charged with 2 counts of sexual assault of a child by a person who works with children and 2 counts of sex with a child 16 or older. Following his arrest on Monday, the Ellsworth School District Superintendent sent a letter to families saying, quote, Mr. Furman was placed on unpaid administrative leave at the time of the arrest. School district staff will be continuing to work throughout the coming days to meet the needs of our students, families, and staff.
A former Chippewa Falls middle school teacher convicted of sexual assault with a student has petitioned for early release from prison. Joel Janke wrote a letter saying he has used his time in prison to better himself through work, school, and treatment. In 2017, he was ordered to serve 6 years in prison, followed by 6 years of extended supervision. He's scheduled to be released June 21st. Janke was a science teacher and confessed to having sexual contact with a girl beginning when she was 13 years old. The Chippewa County DA can object to the petition within 45 days.
We've learned the man found dead on a trail in Grand Canyon National Park last week was from Wisconsin. National Park Service officials say they received a call Friday for an unresponsive person on the Bright Angel Trail. The 56-year-old hiker was pronounced dead when search and rescue arrived. The hiker, who has not been named, was visiting from Pewaukee and reportedly attempting a day hike to the Colorado River and back. His cause of death is under investigation.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court decides the most controversial issues in the state, and a seat is up for grabs in April.
Jason Calvi has more on the two judges advancing in Tuesday's primary to the spring election, hoping to be elected to that open seat.
Your vote in April will decide whether conservatives or progressives control the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Everything we care about is going to be determined by who wins this election.
National abortion rights groups back Janet Protasiewicz.
I value a woman's freedom to make her own reproductive health care decisions.
National abortion opponents spend to help Daniel Kelly.
She's come out and said that she's all about her personal values, not the rule of law.
Protasiewicz won the Tuesday primary with 46% of the vote.
You have to be pretty confident looking forward that this is a very winnable race for Janet Protasiewicz.
So a lot can change in 6 weeks.
Adding the votes for the two progressive primary candidates, Protasiewicz and Everett Mitchell, gained roughly 53%, while the conservatives, Dan Kelly and Jennifer Doro, got 46%. Protasiewicz won more than the two conservatives combined.
That's a red flag for conservatives heading into the April 4th election.
Kelly won the second spot on the April ballot with 24% of the vote.
If we do not resist this assault on our Constitution and our liberties, we will lose the rule of law.
Some were surprised by Doro's primary loss after her national exposure presiding over the Waukesha Christmas Parade trial.
If you get outside of those main, of the Milwaukee media market, she really struggled.
Get ready for the race to shatter the Wisconsin Supreme Court spending record of $10 million. Ad Impact says progressive and conservative primary spending was about equal and topped $9 million.
It is the most important race we've had, at least in the last 20 years, maybe in my lifetime.
You'll decide on April 4th.
Coming up next.
Gonna head over to McKinley Charter School, in Eau Claire to hand out our next Golden Apple Award. You're watching Hello, Wisconsin.
Cozy up to the ultimate comfort food with Slim's Mac Bowl Meals. Try the Tender Mac Bowl Meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl Meal. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Where you at? Give me some dap. Woo!
I gotta give you a prop.
Kiki Palmer here with NFL Pro turned tech entrepreneur Andrew Hawk Hawkins. Okay, Hawk, you ready to show me around NFL Pro era?
Absolutely.
Let's do this.
So this is one of the more fun ones to play with friends. You can just jump into multiplayer and have a good time.
All right, here we go. Woo! Come on, girl.
The more difficult to throw, the more points you get.
Yes, I got it.
There you go.
Ha-ha! What do you think, Hawk? Am I ready to get drafted?
You're a top pick in my book, Kiki.
Join me on Are We There Yet? Streaming now.
Welcome back. 641 in our Nicolay Bank Skycam overlooking Phoenix Park, showing that our visibility has been greatly reduced with the snow that's falling and a little bit of grapple mixed in. That's those pellets that you see out of it. Now, that could lower our accumulations just because grapple doesn't accumulate very easily, being that it is just that very grainy sort of pellet texture. But still, we are expecting more of that snow to continue over the next couple of hours. You see how widespread these heavier bands of snow are as well as they move across parts of western Wisconsin. Temperatures also into the teens for the most part. We have a few places towards the south that are into the 20s, but breezy to kick us off this morning, and we are expecting a rather breezy day, most of us between 5 to 15 miles per hour, and downright windy towards the central parts of the state as well. This does make wind chill a bit of a factor, so if you do need to head out the door, make sure to bundle up because it could be cold if you find yourself stranded with these wind chills approaching zero. Otherwise, Skycast showing this last bit of the storm pushing off towards the northeast by the latter half of the morning. Now we may have a few scattered snow showers take us into the afternoon before we start to see that high pressure build in. That clears us out tonight and gives us a frigid start to tomorrow morning, but then we start to see a few more clouds roll in by tomorrow night, and that can make for just a quick round of snow that should leave by the daybreak hours on Saturday. But for today, mostly into the low 20s for our highs, and again, we have a pretty frigid night ahead of us. A colder day in store tomorrow, but we're back closer to average for the weekend.
Helping kids in search of a fresh start in life is the goal of McKinley Charter School in Eau Claire. That's the place for our next Golden Apple visit, to honor a woman who thrives in helping young people who have faced some tough times and in need of a second chance.
All right, students, well, we've got a news crew here this morning because we are presenting Mrs. Kayla Rabidow with the Golden Apple Award.
Congratulations to Support Services Facilitator Kayla Rabidow for being honored as McKinley's Golden Apple recipient. Kayla joined the school last year and has been a shining light and trusted adult for students who are trying to make a positive change in their lives.
If you don't have trust, you don't have anything. And so really meeting kids where they're at, getting on their level, helping to understand, some of the adversities that they're up against, and just being a consistent person that shows up for them day in and day out. And I feel like just having the mentality and just being someone consistent in their life, that trust continues to build. Being a human, right? We make mistakes. And so even as a trusting adult, I make mistakes. And so just owning that and helping kids see that, you can still make mistakes and move forward.
She's very positive with students, even when they're having the roughest days. Having her in your corner has been so valuable for them. So they know that they have somebody that they trust and then they can talk to and feel safe and secure while doing it. Compassion and empathy she brings in every day to help our students is absolutely remarkable.
And then congratulations again to Miss Rabideau. She and McKinley Charter School will each receive $500 from the Eau Claire Public Schools Foundation. And Kayla, again, will also receive a beautiful Golden Apple Crystal at the awards banquet in April. Leanne?
Thanks a lot, Bob. Coming up, we'll have one last live report on this morning's snowy road conditions, and we'll take a look at our top stories. Keep it here.
Hello, Wisconsin.
Your heartbeat is unique to you. We believe your heart care should be too. So for your one-of-a-kind heart, choose the one hospital system more people trust for their heart care. Baptist Health, centered on you.
Try the Tender Mac Bowl Meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl Meal. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Here's a look at our top stories. The snow that continues to fall, the high winds and drifting snow will definitely impact your morning commute. There are several travel advisories across the state this morning.
NBC 15's Phoebe Murray is visiting from our sister station in Madison. She's outside now with a closer look. Good morning, Phoebe.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys doing? It's winter wonderland out here. That is, if you are not having to travel. In the last couple of minutes here, we've started to pick up some gravel, which is a little bit of a heavier snowfall, with, if you will. It kind of looks like beads, and you can see it's coming down reflected on my coat here as well. But really, we just spoke with the State Patrol, who says people have been very good about listening to those travel advisories and not having to be out on the roads if they don't have to be. But as we know, wind is a really big factor into what's happening and what is affecting those road conditions. We have a lot of blowing and snowing, leaving for some snow piles and snow drifts that can be affecting how you handle that car. But we checked in with the Eau Claire Streets Division, who says really the way that they've been attacking this plan has been going rather well. They've had 14 crew teams out overnight, and they will continue to execute a statewide, or a citywide rather, plow operation later this morning. Sorry, it's very cold out here. I'm starting to lose my breath, but they say things are going according to plan. All that they're asking is to people really adhere by those odd and even day alternate parking strides to help them out with that snow removal.
There was some streets we just couldn't even get down because cars were double parked, on opposite sides of the street. So trying to make sure you're parking all on one side of the street or the other would really help us out.
We're starting to see drifting now, which we knew would be a concern. We advise not to travel if it's not needed. There's going to be high drift areas, which, some roads may be closed because of the drifting.
And again, the city is going to be efforting a city-wide snowplow effort this morning at 7 a.m. We spoke with them yesterday. That looks like about 50 pieces of equipment out on the roads. So they ask that you give them a little bit of space on the roads if you are out traveling. But if not, enjoy this snow, stay warm, bundle up, get those hand warmers, and have fun with the snow as it makes its second way through the Chippewa Valley here in Eau Claire. Live for you guys back in the studio.
Thanks a lot, Phoebe, and it's been great having Phoebe back in Eau Claire for the past couple of days. Want to thank our sister station, NBC 15 down in Madison, for lending her to us for the last 48 hours.
Yeah, she definitely looked cold, and I will be nice enough to share my number of blankets I have at my desk with her.
All right, well, now law enforcement issued a tow ban on Highway 53 yesterday, meaning vehicles will only be removed if they are in the way of traffic.
With that tow ban in place, the Eau Claire County Sheriff's Office says drivers who get stuck in a ditch should stay in their vehicles with their seatbelt on until help arrives.
And speaking of staying in your car, we have a prime example of why you should.
A police officer standing outside his car narrowly escaped a semi-truck that lost control on a snowy road in Wyoming.
This is must-see and very scary video. The Wyoming Highway Patrol released the video of the incident, saying it added a warning for drivers to move over and slow down for emergency vehicles.
The driver of the truck ran off of the highway into the median, according to the Highway Patrol, and thankfully no one was hurt. That guy, his reflexes were on point, because that could have been very bad.
Yeah, a much worse result.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, I can't imagine what he was thinking right at that moment. I can't believe how fast those semis are going, even that one that just went past.
I know.
Well, more flight disruptions are expected today as this powerful storm moves through the Midwest and out to the East Coast.
Tens of millions of people across the country are under winter weather alerts for severe icing, extreme cold, and sleet.
Nearly 700 flights have already been canceled. That's on top of the more than 1,700 flights that were canceled yesterday. That's according to flight tracking site FlightAware. The most heavily affected airports were MSP, Denver, and Detroit.
The National Guard has been deployed to help rescue stranded drivers in Minnesota.
Jonah Kaplan has the details.
Four-wheel drive is minor league compared to this. The Minnesota National Guard's Small Unit Support Vehicle, or SUSV. It's how soldiers will reach stranded motorists.
There isn't a whole lot that the machine isn't able to get through or climb over.
The back cab can hold up to 10 people. In front, 2 soldiers and room for at least one other first responder. A rescue, though, will take time. The Susvey isn't known for speed.
The average speed, you're going to average around 15 to 20 miles an hour depending on road conditions. Now, once you get into the heavier drifts, you might be going 5 to 10 miles an hour.
But they'll be safe and warm and taken to the armory where staff and volunteers are ready to help.
Food, sleeping area, and then we also like to have games for children.
Now, your Skywarn 13 weather forecast.
Well, looking at some of our snow totals across the region, I mean, since Tuesday evening, keep that in mind with these totals. Neillsville, 11 inches. Oliva, also 10 inches. Now, most of us have gotten anywhere in the neighborhood of about 6 to 12 inches. Mawson, of course, on the bottom end of that at 8 inches. Otherwise, we are still seeing some of these snow showers moving in at a rather heavy rate across western Wisconsin. Now, taking a look at some of those darker blues, that's, of course, where we are seeing those heavy rates. If my clicker wants to work, there we go. Otherwise, again, looking at Hastings Way right now on our Nicolay Bank Skycam, that's where we have those snow-covered roads. Again, this is where you'll want to give that extra space to those other vehicles, especially those crews that are working on the roadways, the ones that you see flashing with those yellow lights right there. Now, again, for your morning commute, of course, the roads are not going to be favorable. In fact, well, less than ideal, in fact, dangerous. So again, this is one of those mornings that you'll want to stay at home if you can. Otherwise, use a lot of caution on the roadways. Temperatures mostly into the teens across western Wisconsin, low 20s down by the Cooley region. Winds very breezy to kick us off, mostly 5 to 15 miles per hour. But look at Neillsville, 24 miles per hour right now for those winds. That does make that wind chill feel like it's into the single digits for most of us. Of course, Black River Falls, not much of a wind right now, feeling like it's 21 degrees. Looking at Skycast over the next few hours, this system expected to push a little further towards the northeast and give way to a few scattered snow showers going into the afternoon and into the evening. Otherwise, tonight, high pressure then builds in, and that will allow our clouds to clear out and give us a very frigid start to tomorrow morning. Then we start to see a little bit of sunshine, but those clouds will continue to work in through tomorrow afternoon and into the evening, eventually leading to another chance at some snow showers heading our direction. Now, this will be a much quicker system that pushes off towards the northeast going into Saturday morning before the daybreak hours, and eventually giving us more sunshine going into the afternoon. And notice those southerly winds going to help keep things on the average side. Otherwise, today, below average, getting into the low 20s for our highs. Going into tonight, again, a very frigid start to tomorrow morning, mostly into the single digits below zero. Some places could even get into the double digits below zero. But looking ahead at the next couple of days, tomorrow will be on the cool side, but then we start to get closer to average, even into the mid-30s with the return of sunshine on Sunday. But then Monday brings us another round of precipitation, this time likely of the mixed variety with those temperatures mostly into the mid-30s. And then we moderate a little closer to average going into the middle of next week, highs into the low 30s, and well, that's where we should be for this time of year.
Rush out here. So, I mean, here's a little blanket, buddy, to keep you warm, because
I appreciate that.
it's all up to you to get us our forecast, and you are the one person who needs to be warm over here.
Yes, I was going to say that's one of the things where, like, there's so much going on. Of course, you can see the snow falling right now, and, well, my head was in forecasting mode, maybe not necessarily broadcasting mode, so I appreciate the help with the blanket on that.
You guys have done a great job the last 3 days. We have the best weather team in this part of the state, and well, maybe in the state for that matter, with Derek and Darren and Mike. A lot of challenges with the forecast the last couple days, but it's not grappling right now anymore. This is actually
more
pretty
of the
heavy
snow again. Yeah.
So, and you know, as far as road conditions, if you don't have to be out, Mike, don't be out today.
Just look at how much is on this table here. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's definitely, that looks like 11 inches to me right there.
Yeah, like we've been saying, name of the game, take it slow on the road, give yourself extra room, and if you think you got enough, give yourself some more. So we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.